Hi friends, in this video we are going to study about the term, the subject, phenomenology. So phenomenology means study of the structure of consciousness. First of all, let us see about this word. Phenomenology has been made up of two words, phenomena and logy. Phenomena means anything that is happening around you and logy means to study. So whenever you are studying any event that is happening around you, that is called as phenomenology. So basically it is the study of the structure of consciousness as experienced from the first person point of view. So whenever I am experiencing anything, then that experience is my subjective experience. And when you are going to study about my experience, my structure of consciousness, then that study is called phenomenology. So basically, the central structure of any experience is intentionality. Whenever I want to understand an experience, I always check an intentionality for that action or that behavior or that experience. And that intentionality is nothing but it is a direction towards something. So intentionality, whenever I am moving my experience towards something, then that is called as intentionality. Now, an experience is directed towards an object by the virtue of content or meaning. So whenever I want to interact with an object, I always interacting with the content or meaning of an object, not directly with the object. So understand this. Object is something physical, but when I am making use of an object, I am making use of some nature of an object. For example, if I am taking a pitcher, a glass of water, then I'm using a glass of water for drinking purpose, for some of the purpose. And that purpose is bringing the meaning to an object. So the purpose, like for drinking purpose, is the content of an object. So whenever I'm experiencing an object, that experience is because of that content of an object. And that content plays a very important role because in phenomenology we study that aspect only. So in early 20th century we see the works of Husserl, Heidegger, Sartre, Merleau-Ponty, all the best philosophers who have studied the idea of phenomenology. Let's see definition of phenomenology. So phenomenology is understood in two ways. First, it is the field of philosophy. Second, it is movement in the history of philosophy. So basically, phenomenology is the study of structure of experience or consciousness, that is the study of any phenomena. So phenomenology studies conscious experience as experience from the subjective or first point of view, first person point of view. Now, this experience could be anything. This could be perception, could be thought, memory, imagination, emotion, desire, volition to bodily awareness, etc. So, whenever you are trying to understand an experience, you would like to understand the intentionality, and that is what Husserl talks about. And our intentionality is always and direction of any experience. Whenever you're directing an experience, then that is called as intentionality. Now let us understand all this thing in detail. Experience, I just said, it includes anything, perception, imagination, and experiences, according to Husserl, is something with which we live through. It is unique. Now, there are many methods to understand phenomenology. We are not going to be in detail, but for just highlighting the main point, I will just take some. So classical phenomenology studies about experiences of the past, like Husserl and Merleau-Ponty. They interpret the type of experience relating to the context, like Heidegger and his followers. And third, we analyze the type of experience. In fourth method, there is a logico-semantic model of phenomenology, like the idea of truth, like where I think, what I think, where I intend, all this thing is logically connected or not. All these things are covered under logico-semantic model of phenomenology, and this will go more complicated, like fifth one, experimental paradigm, like neurophenomenology, etc., etc. So we are not going to jump into details of it, just for the sake of understanding like what phenomenology basically covers. Now let's see here an example by which we will be understanding phenomenology in more detail. So here is an example. I am thinking that phenomenology differs from psychology. So here you see the I. I is a first person perspective, that is the subject, and when it is doing something like thinking, that is a kind of intentionality. That verbs indicates an intentional activity. It is my perception, it is my thought or imagination. Now, where this thinking, where this activity is directed to what? It directed towards an act about differentiating between phenomenology and psychology. So here we have understood the four terms. First, the subject term. Second, the intentionality, that is determined by the verb. Then the direct object expression, where is this object expression is taking us, that is the meaningfulness. And the last is the mode of presentation of the object, in what way an object is presenting it to us, that is the content or meaning of the experience, which Husserl called nomen. So we are not going to jump in detail, just we wanted to understand about phenomenology, a brief idea about phenomenology and what it comprises of, like experiences and other things. So I hope so you like this video. Thank you so much.